and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I like this." Like, so I'm already in a great mood this afternoon to start. So, and this is my guest, Madilynn Dale. We met on Go Indie Now, I think 3 weeks ago, something like that.
I think so. Something
Yeah.
around that time.
Yeah. So we had a good time. I made an ass of myself. She laughed at my terrible jokes. I thought she'd be a great guest to come on the show. So here we are. So how you doing today?
I'm good. Staying busy. Son's home today, so I've been on my toes all day. We're officially to that point where naps don't happen. So I've had a lot of coffee today.
So you must miss Nat. I mean, seriously.
I do. I love nap time. So not only is it quiet, but I will occasionally nap too.
Because it makes staying up late it's easier. Not. See, as a kid, you're like, I outgrow that nap stuff. When you come to adults, like, wait a minute, this nap shit is awesome. Yes, why are we not doing this more?
Yes. Oh my gosh. But he's totally like, nope, not doing it. And I'm like, okay.
It's like, no, and there's tears in your eyes. There's just there are some tears.
I love nap time more than he does, for sure.
That's true, but that's okay. You both will have the same love for recess in about 2 years.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah. I actually, in contemplation of the world being batshit crazy, I realized that one of maybe the simplest solutions to this problem is recess. Recess would be a great way to make everybody slowly come back down to earth, just a little bit.
Yes, it will. Getting outside and just playing, like,
yes.
So it grounds you.
Yeah, well, it grounds you, but it also just one of those situations where you just realize something, like, it's the little things in life that matter, not the big stuff. The big shit doesn't really matter that much. Some people want the big stuff. Good for you. You're not. It's some of it is wonderful. You can do whatever you like. Truth of the matter is, it's the high fives, the hugs, the terrible jokes, right? Teaching people naughty swear. I just taught somebody how to swear in French not about an hour ago.
Oh my gosh!
Yes. That's the shit that matters. Like,
yeah,
nobody wants. It's not this, like, I had this, like, epiphany about, and this is going to be very antithetical to what a lot of authors believe. I had this, like, epiphany that it doesn't really, in one sense, the things I do in one very real sense doesn't matter. Right? It's the impact I make and how I make people feel in the time I'm with whoever I'm with. That's really it to everything at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, we can disagree. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's just I had that epiphany. It's like, because so Al Zero, the one you read, was nominated for an award this year. It was nominated, it didn't win, but it was nominated, and it was cool. It's like I was flattered to be nominated in this very prestigious, like. But I did that. I published this on my own, and it made me realize something. It's like, you know what? I'm going to do shit, and good things will come of it, even if they're things I don't expect.
Yeah.
So, in this one very real sense, I don't worry about it anymore. It's like, I'm just going to tell my stories to the best of I can. I'm going to find that audience is going to find me. I'm going to, as you so eloquently put it off the air, pleasantly surprise them. Right? Yes. Make them think a little bit about some stuff. Right? And hopefully, give them a good feeling so that when they come back, they'll come back, or maybe they'll come listen to the show and realize how much of an asshole I am, but an entertaining one. and that's it, right? Like, you make the impact you make. That's really what this is all about. And I can't control the final outcome, and so I try not to be in love with the final outcome, right? And like I said, I do things my own way. That's not necessarily how the universe will agree with me, but that's totally cool too. I've kind of come to terms that I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to let things roll. And if you like me, great. If you don't, shrug. I'm not. I don't care. I'm just going to do what I think is the right thing. I'm going to try to be the best person I can be. Be okay when I don't succeed. Sometimes you just don't, right?
Yeah.
And that's it, right? And that again, I'm keeping it really simple, stupid, but that's because it's not like the KISS method. The KISS method for everybody that I just quoted there, right? Because if you keep it simple, you can find ways to enjoy everything. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I completely agree with all that, because it is like there's always somebody that's going to be like, nope, not for me. And that's fine. Just keep going.
Yeah, that's right. Heck, it might not be for mostly everybody. That's fine too. Like I said, as an author, you need about 1,000 people. That's it. Like if you really sit there and think about that, that's not an impossibility for any of us.
Mm-mm.
Right? So it's just come up with a good plan, tell the best story you can, and be true to who you are, and do everything you can to let the world know, hey world, I'm out there and I'm awesome. And right, and just do it, or maybe not necessarily like that, but that's it. That is your job. That like I I've tried to keep things simple as I've gotten older / wiser / drunker. Right? But
Yes.
but because the world does not as a whole make sense. But one of the things is realize, like, you know what, I can control what I do. So my job then is to give myself the best chance I know how to succeed. That's it.
Exactly.
Everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think I completely agree with your whole approach there.
Yeah, I do. I do. Like you, that's all. It makes sense, and it's a good way to look at things too. So.
Yeah. Okay. So enough of my preamble and philosophizing and exits. No, I'm not drinking, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just having a good time, and I'm actually trying to see how much.
Not yet. It's too early still, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's pretty like. I realized like how kind of blessed with that. I actually had a chance to talk to a collaborator for my next novel yesterday. We talked for like 3 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. No, but she's a friend. Like she's a friend too. Like she gave me my first, like, it's on Zoom. We talked about wanting to do a story together. So I have the perfect. I think I have the perfect story for her to tell. So we were just trying to figure out some stuff, and we're early brainstorming. We're not going to come back to this probably for another couple months because she's got stuff to do and so do I. But just the idea just kind of clicked what we're kind of expecting from each other, and it was like I get to work with. And this sounds like a really really dumb thing, but it's just like I got to work with Ambu, and I got to work with Kenzie Carr, and I've had like I thought about it this year. It's just like I've worked with a lot of amazing people, and I've been very fortunate that way. If that makes a lot of sense.
It's always fun when that happens too, because it just it's almost like the universe just brings it to you and presents it. It's like, here, you're gonna work with this person. You can even see my hands. There we go.
That's right. We are a visual show.
You're gonna find this person. You're gonna meet this person. You're gonna work with them. Like I feel like that's happened to me a lot this year too. And I am extremely thankful for like people like you and then like Joe and everybody that I've met this year. Like it's really opened a lot of doors. Opportunities.
Joe Compton's a sweetheart. Like
Compton
is a total sweetheart. If he's listening to this, he's probably just blushed just a touch because I have almost like one of those. So I did something. So like, you know, it's just one of those things. Like you realize like we have to build each other up. Like we're not actually really competition for each other. There is a touch of it, but not really. Right? It's just like, look, you read my stuff. Who tells a story like that? Right?
It was good though. Like it's unique, and that is a thing that makes it stand apart from everything else.
That's my goal. Every story I want to tell, like they have to be good, and I'm not, and so I'm hoping I keep hitting like decent solid shots out the park. But that's this whole secret to it. Really is you just recognize the fact that you in a world like this, it's about trying to do things to stand out, right? I also like I realize I'm my own unique little character in the universe. So and in me trying to conform to any like mold, I probably would just destroy the mold. Would just like die. So it's like no,
yeah. I feel like that's been me for like my entire life because I've always thought like of myself as kind of like the floater, even in school, because I was friends with everybody. Because back when we were in school, cliques were still like a really big, huge thing, and they may still be today. I don't know, but you had like the goths, the nerds, the jocks, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I just like floated in between everybody because I was a little bit of both. I was in choir. I was also like a book nerd. I also was a cheerleader and a softball player, and like Yeah. So.
It's like I was very much a loner. I had some different people, but I was very much a loner in high school because I was the weird kid, and I was okay with it. And I'm still the weird adult. I just don't look at it quite the same way anymore in the sense that I again, I'm just very comfortable in my skin. Like I
That's
just like
good. Yes.
I think that's the thing. Like I don't worry about being anybody. Like in high school, you're always like you're trying to fit in. For me, I learned this at a very early age because of just I moved around a lot as a kid. There was one place where pretty much it felt like the whole school. Um, right. I just got an email just flash across the screen
You're
there. So
good.
it's just
I've had a
yeah.
few come across them with the
Yeah. It's like
don't move,
yes,
don't make noise.
I don't multitask as well as you do. Moms are the supreme multitaskers of the world. They have to
You
be.
learn. It's like a whole nother level when you become a mom. It's like, okay, here we go.
No, you have to because you got this baby going like who's just curious about everything. Going, oh God, don't touch that. Ah!
Oh,
Right?
yes. Or like climbing on things. That's what my son has, like, before he was even walking, he was trying to climb on things. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, we're not going to do this. But I was a climber too. So we've already had a lot of scares. I'm just like.
So this is the universe saying, ha ha.
Yes. And my entire family think it's hilarious. I'm like, yeah, y'all wait till y'all have kids because my sister, I'm the oldest of my siblings. I'm like, just wait, it's coming. You're just gonna get it. So
just again, university. Like if I do have kids some days, they're going to be like they're going to be like. They're gonna be like this out there. See, my worst nightmares are like your kids are just different enough that you're not quite sure how to deal with them completely, but they're similar enough that you recognize yourself in them at least a little bit.
Oh,
and that's the horrifying part. It's like I got it right. That's actually the truly horrifying. You see yourself. You're like, so my kids, knowing if I do have kids, will probably be these ridiculously talented, either artistic, athletic people, right? Who have my like unique points of view of the universe already and are probably smarter than I am, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm be like, how do I keep up with this, right? And
it's
my hair goes,
hard, like
yeah.
super hard, because they're also like into all the technology earlier than we were as kids. And I'm like, okay, you can do stuff on his Kindle. And I'm like, you're 3. What did you
do? That's it, right? It just built for the age, right?
Yes.
It just built for the time, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm 40 and I'm like, well, I still remember the analog stuff, although I may never need any of that shit again.
I know.
But you might like. I think the rest of this decade is going to be very interesting in terms of. I think there's going to be a lot of divergence in a lot of places. That's kind of my thinking. All right. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. We don't need to talk about the doom and gloom of the end of the world as we know it, because right. But the thing is, like I do truly believe that every kid, every person that comes into the world is built for the time they're built for. So they're going to adapt to the tools of the time quicker because they have less bullshit in their head they have to overcome. As I get older, it's not about what I learn; it's what I have to unlearn. Right? Yeah. Unlearning sometimes is unlearning. Like, I know this was a big blow to my ego. I know it's like a huge blow to my ego. It's like, I don't know everything and things are changing out from under me. And I'm not going to be able to keep up with all that shit.
Nope.
And I've come to this conclusion already. And it was, I cried. I had like a moment of like humility there. Just like, what do you mean the world is bigger than me? But once I accepted that, it's like, okay, so I accept the fact that when I get to 60, right? If I get to 60, ooh. right. Oh, okay, whatever. I actually, you know what? I'm enjoying getting older because your give a shit just goes completely down the toilet and it's fantastic.
I do agree with that. That just goes.
How old are you?
I'm 30. You've got 10 years on me, but it's like the older you get, the more you learn, the more you're like, I don't even care anymore. Just
well, no. Once you get to, so you're getting hit. Like if it hasn't hit you, it's going to hit you. There's gonna be this moment when you get to like, I got it at around 37. You're probably smarter than I am, so we're just gonna assume you'll get there a little faster, and in the sense that, you know, you're going to have this moment. It's like, wait a minute. I don't actually have to cooperate with everything that goes on around here. And when you come to, yeah. So, and when you get to that moment, when you actually get to that moment, you have this really huge epiphany that's when you truly get to the next level of I don't give a fuck, because that's the point when you get to you recognize that most of what we do in this world does not really matter. I mean, in terms of society and rules, like not that shit does not actually matter. Mm-hmm. Right? What you're gonna do what you damn well please anyway. I think when you get older, what you want crystallizes a lot more. And again, you get like me, you keep it nice and freaking simple, because you just realize that one, right, complicated stuff, while it's all achievable, it always starts in simplicity. That first thing. And the second part is you've also been down the block a few times and you've seen people do things, and you reevaluate what's important with people. For me, are you going to show up and do your thing? Like, those are the two things I care about the most.
Yeah, that's true.
The rest doesn't matter. Like, the rest really doesn't. And it's, again, I am simple. I'm kiss methoding life. And this is the theme of this chat, kiss methoding life. But I mean, it's just like, that's it. Like, you come to this realization. You come to this realization that you don't have to cooperate. You come to this realization that you can question. You are free in this life to do whatever you damn well please. That is an amazing gift. But I don't think people fully realize it until they get a little older in life, how much freedom you truly have. Yeah. And that's when you can actually start thinking like a businessman or a woman and go, oh, I'll do it. How much? Right? That sounds really simplistic, but life's a negotiation. It always has been and it always will be.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to have things happen in life that'll make you realize that too. So
yeah. So what was your epiphany moment? Like with this? There had to be one.
Oh, all the postpartum stuff I went through and like having to like switch jobs and everything during it, that was my epiphany time. Like coming out of that kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things.
So okay, that feels like a very general. I don't need to go all details of why it all fell to shit. I get the feeling, I do get a little feeling that there are still some hard feelings there, but
a little, yeah.
No, it's fair. Again, it's fair.
Yeah,
it probably was a shitty deal. I'm not even gonna do like.
It was rough. It was very, very rough.
Yeah, so. But. So like I've been through my own like shitty deals and shady deals and all that stuff. And one of those things is that happened to me was I was angry for a long time about some things, but as I've gotten older, I've just realized, okay, what good came from it? So that's what I'm going to ask, like those specific good things, like those epiphany moments that came from it. That way you don't have to get through all the nastiness.
Yeah. Well, I guess like definitely some good things is that I went ahead and took that leap and published a book, and here I am. I mean, that was a big like change. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I don't work as much in the healthcare system now. I mean, I'm still like licensed as a physical therapy assistant and stuff, but I don't do it like full time like I was, because I was overworking myself and it was not worth it.
No, I know. Like I said, again, we're not going to dwell on it too much. Your medical system leaves a lot. I don't care which part of the country you're in. There's a lot to be desired. Most of our problems today is a result of that medical system, in my opinion, and not just the stuff that goes on in the country, but the insurance and the pharmaceutical, like all that stuff. You guys created those fucking monsters. So, yeah. So,
but that's definitely like I came out in a better spot, I think, with all the writing and the author stuff that I'm here now. I mean, like I actually have better like ways of dealing with my mental health and like self-care out of it all too. So
okay, I'm gonna go just a touch deeper on that one, because So the biggest secret I've learned about mental health, this is the biggest secret I've learned. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this straight up. I've never been. I don't have depression. I don't have a lot of the mental things. But what I find with most of us, we have it's that tendency when we're younger. We think it's necessary to swallow all the crap we're being fed, right?
Yeah.
And
I promise you, it's a generational thing because I'm totally teaching my son not to.
Yeah, no. Like I said, the next generation after us is going to be free out of all this bullshit that we're going through right now. You can see it coming because there's too much of the same things going on, and you can see it, and it's time for a change. And one of the biggest lessons, I think, again, but same thing. You're young, you don't know. You tend to go where everybody else goes because you're like, well, they know what they're doing, and then you come to that epiphany. Something, no one really knows what the fuck they're doing. Right?
They don't.
And then at that point, you're like, well, I better start figuring my shit out then because they're not going to do it for me. Eventually, that happens. You hope. You hope people
knock on wood.
Yeah, and if you don't, God bless you anyway. Because I'm not holding it against you. I might not be on the same lane with you because I'm scared, but at the same time, it's just like I get it. But it sounds to me like there was a point with you where you had to stop internalizing the crap inside you and go, okay, I don't want to carry this shit no more.
It was hard. It was definitely like I was in the figuring it out period of the postpartum depression stuff. So
yeah,
and I also discovered I carry a lot of anxiety, way more than I thought, like originally. So, but it is okay to be on anxiety medication, guys.
It helps. It's whatever works for you. That's how I look at it. Like it can be anxiety medication, it can be vanilla tea, it can be whatever you choose.
Yeah,
it's all right. I don't care about treatment, about the particular treatment. All I care about is that you get treated, right? The rest of that is not my business or concern. The reason I put it to you like that is like one of the best pieces of advice my sister has ever given to me was you have to be strong. You have to be wise enough to confront the feelings you have inside you, and then strong enough to let it go once you let yourself feel it. Yep. And that is, I think, probably that more than anything else is the biggest key to mental health for a lot of people. And again, I'm simplifying this, folks. I'm not saying it.
It's not simple at all.
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I think simple and easy get mixed up. Easy is almost nothing wrong in this life is easy. There's a lot of work. Being honest with yourself requires a certain brutality that I don't think we teach ourselves very much. But you have to have that brutality sometimes too. Sometimes I have to look in the mirror and go, Josh, you're being a bitch. Josh, you're the villain here. Sometimes you gotta be honest about that. Like we all want to be the hero of our story, and that's always something to aspire to. But sometimes we're the villain, and that's okay too. Sometimes.
Yeah. Because sometimes you have to be the villain.
Well, you're a parent. You must be. You have to be the villain. He takes over the house.
Yes, he does. He's already got a bedroom and a toy room. Yep. Top's like, that's enough. No more toys. Or your in-laws and the grandparents do not get him any toys until Christmas. Like it's done. Hold up.
Oh, see, this is part of the revenge, though. You understand this, right? This is part of it's part of the revenge because they grew up with their kid, and you guys caused them all kinds of grief, and they're like, well, my mom and dad got you all the extra toys. They sugared you up. They did all these things.
Yep. Yeah.
And we had to deal with your mess. You ain't getting off that easy. You're just gonna,
It's fun, let me tell you.
Yeah, fun. I can see that. It's fun. The eyes roll. It's like, I hate you, but I did this.
Yes.
It's like, I hate you, but I did this to you.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah. I regret some of the choices that I made as a kid now because I'm like, why are y'all letting him have so much candy? Oh, because he wanted it.
Because they don't because they don't have to deal with it.
Yes.
That's not the like that's the best thing about being a grandparent is they can come in, they can be the fun people now. They don't have to be the tyrant.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have to be. A part of being a parent, especially when they're young and developing, you have to set boundaries. You just have. It's good for your kid to have them. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have to set the same boundaries. They got to be careful of how on what they step on with you. But by and large, they don't have to be as strict. They just don't have to be.
They get to be the easy ones.
Yeah. Right, they don't have to. It's not their place. That's your place, right? So, that's how they look at it, and it's fair because again, they've done their thing, and they trust you. Yeah, this is the ultimate thing of trust. If they had to come down and be that would be like that would also. I mean, it's not that they wouldn't be above helping you, but it's also be like, okay, what's going on? Especially if you're not struggling in some way. So it's just like they trust you. So they trust you with your kid, and they're going to let you do your thing and try not to step on your toes too much, but they are going to rub it in a little bit.
Yes.
Because, right? Because that's how, I mean, it happened to them, right? So it would happen to you too.
But it's like sometimes.
It's fair though, right? It's
though,
right?
It is.
Yeah, it's one of those, again, it's one of those realities that we all have to kind of like deal with is we have this like point in life where we just have this tendency to be like, no, things we do come back to us. They really do.
They do. Yes. In the most unexpected ways.
And sometimes you just don't even argue with it because you're like, yep,
it is what it is. You just
that's it. All you can say is just yep. It's like, do you hate this? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you smiling like this? Because I did it to myself, and I know I did it to myself.
Yeah. Oh.
Right?
I'm doomed. My child is just gonna if we're gonna hit a point, I'm just gonna like we're done.
Well, no. Again, if it's stuff, the worst stuff is the stuff you did, specifically you, and it was you, right?
Yeah.
That's the parts that get you the most because it's like, because also but that's I mean that's the best and worst thing about being a parent too, because that shows you where you. I mean, I this is just my thing, right? So my dad used to always lecture me about focus. In fact, I have these lectures burned in my brain. I got them so many times. Now that I'm older and I can see him for what he is, like, this is where I got it from.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, and I recognize those things about myself. And it's just like, okay, I got that from him. Now, some of it's just me. There's also like, every kid brings their own unique little bit of spice to this. And that's going to be like, and you're going to look at that sometimes like, why did you do that? I don't understand. Because I didn't do that. Did you? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the thing. Like, every generation's every little different. Again, but what you hope for is that they're better than you. And if not, it's not always about financially providing for them, although that is definitely something that's nice. It's also just about giving them the tools to look at the world and handle things hopefully better than you did.
Yeah, and that's the hard part because you have to break some of the habits that you learn growing up so your child does not have that. So they don't bottle things up, for example. So
yeah. So are you a lot more open and honest about your feelings to everybody now?
I am. I'm better about it sometimes, not so much, but it's a work in progress still. Because it's hard once you are almost not so much set in a way, but you go for so long doing things one way, it's really, really hard to break that.
Yes.
So, especially it's just a big step in just realizing it and then working to break those patterns. So.
Mm-hmm. No, it's totally. It's totally the way it is. You have that, and the older you get, the harder it gets. And then sometimes, and sometimes you're gonna come to this horrifying realization that some of this is never going to fully change.
Mom, we go in for cookies.
There are no cookies.
I want the cookies.
Well, you're going to have to wait. We'll have to make some. Sorry. I don't know if
We
you
are,
can hear the
we are interrupted by the star of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that is your cousin. Go play. Okay, I'll tell Santa. No. Go. Put it down. Put it down.
I want the toy.
Harrison, put it down.
I want this toy.
Okay, I'll tell Santa. Put it down. That's not yours. Did your ninja kids go off? No?
I don't want to do it.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait. Go play for a little bit. Go get your Kindle. Where's your Kindle?
I don't want it.
Okay, rip it. That's fine. I've got to rewrap it anyway. Go play, okay?
Oh,
Go.
the great, yes.
As he tears it up in the background.
As A.F. Stewart so eloquent puts it, the great cookie. Yeah,
Yes.
actually,
Don't open that, bud.
I don't want it.
You can take that off. That's fine. Hey, if you go play, we'll make cookies in a little bit. Okay?
Take this out.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I can open it.
No. And then I can open it?
no. Listen, that's what a kid does. They're going to try to get away with whatever they can. That's part of the
true.
game.
Yes.
It's part of the game, right? He's learning how to negotiate right now with you.
Oh, he's good at that. He gets that from his dad, honestly. Like it's just all in his system. Harrison,
Don't do it.
did you put that in there? For the record, it's little ice cube poop things. That's what it is. Like it's freeze it. We got it for my husband as a gag gift one year, and we filled his stocking with ice cube poops. So that's what he's got stuck in there.
It's okay. Like I said, Paul Bahu had his 1-year-old kid in a diaper on his lap for an hour. It's one of those things where you just like again, you're a parent, and we are and we are in the era of home life.
Go get your Kindle.
Please open this.
Please open this. This is what we're gonna do. Go get your Kindle, and we'll put a movie on or something.
You put this.
You know what? I'm gonna tell Santa not to bring you presents. Go.
Open.
You can take it and look at it, but not open it. Go.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
I don't want to open it.
Just take it and go.
I don't
Go.
want to open it.
No, you're not gonna open it.
I want to.
Harrison, go get your Kindle.
This is a really
See, here's the thing. He's bored and he wants your attention, and he's got it now, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's just gonna hang out back there on the floor.
somebody.
Okay, I'll tell Santa. Put it back and go play.
Open my present.
No, you cannot open your present. It is not Christmas. Okay, I'm gonna take yours back if you don't go.
I'm gonna open it.
You're not gonna open this.
Me?
You see, yeah, there you go. Harrison, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, Pearson. Hi.
He's like, okay.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, and then on that. Hey, go get your Kindle. Or go get a book.
I'm gonna open this.
Maybe later. Go play.
How can we open this?
He's a mess.
He wants stuff. Again, he's bored. He wants his mommy to get it. Again,
Yeah.
that's the way it is. That's part of the
And
game. And
Heaven forbid all his cousins get Christmas presents. Gosh. Because that's whose present he's trying to open. Is his cousin's Christmas present.
That's what it's so. But again, he's gonna do this. He's bouncing on the.
Yeah.
That's a first. That's a first.
It's in a big, thick box. Thankfully. Go. Harrison. Take it and go.
I'm opening it.
No. Here, you want my phone? He's like, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, he is thinking about it. This is. This is riveting entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, as we come and watch the battle between mom and son. It's a great negotiation, alive and on the air.
Yes, it is. Here, Harrison. Dinosaurs.
What is this?
That is Mimsy's, and she's probably watching this. So you just told her her present. Go. Take it and go. Go. Okay. Like 10 minutes, maybe. It'll be back. What?
You're. I think you're being generous when you say 10 minutes. I think very generous, but that's okay. It's going to be part of the show, and it's part of being like a parent at home. Like in this era, like I don't like this show is very much just a raw. Let's go hang out and have fun. So I mean, having kids interrupted totally doesn't wreck the format at all. But I mean, you're like, thank God. It doesn't hit me that way because I understand too. Like you're a mom, you have kids, and they're gonna be part of life. I mean, if something happened, we'd end the show. I mean, that's just the way it is. I accept that. It's part of life, right?
They make things entertaining every now and then. So that's where.
Well, they're chaos, right?
Yes,
they're chaos, right? But the thing about chaos is it makes life real. Right. If everything was nice, orderly, neat, tidy, packaged, that's insanity. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anywhere in nature. There's always a little bit of chaos, because that chaos forces change. Now, the chaos in this form is a 3-year-old that wants his mommy's attention and is going to do whatever it takes to get it.
Yes.
That's it. That's his mission. That's his objective, and he won that part of the battle.
He did.
Right.
Now he gets to watch dinosaurs on our phone.
And you distract him. It's like, just let me finish this interview, please. Just let me finish this interview. And afterwards, I'll do whatever you want. And of course, that's what'll happen is when you are free and hey, let's go. You'll be like, nah, don't wanna.
No. Every time it never fails. I'm like, really, kid? Really?
Yeah, it's the game you play. It's the game you play, right? It's just that is how it goes, right? And is he the only child? Are you guys gonna?
He is. We've talked about it. We're hoping to be in a bigger house before we do. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
We'll see how that all plays out, though.
Yeah, I somehow do see him with a little sibling. I almost see it as he's probably going to get a sister is what's probably going to happen. And he's going to be the merry-go leader until she's about 13. Then she'll be in charge because that's just
my family would love it if we had a girl. So my sister actually was hoping he was a girl, and she had this epic oh my gosh, there goes all the glitter moment after we found out he was a boy. So
he might still like glitter. I mean, who the heck? Who the heck knows?
He does like to do creative projects with glitter, and it gets everywhere.
That's the curse of that's the curse of glitter. It goes everywhere, and you'll never get rid of it. It's just you're stuck with it forever.
It's everywhere in the carpet, in the crevices, on the tile, in the dog's hair. But she was like, "There goes all those dresses and everything." My sister's very, very girly. And I was more the tomboy growing up, so she was like, "I'm going to spoil your daughter," but she has nieces on her husband's side of the family now. So,
Well, it's okay. Well, in that case, I'll hope for another brother for you because somehow I feel like you want the peace and quiet. I just feel like you don't get much of that these days, but I feel. If it's your own chaos, you're good with it. If it's not your chaos,
yeah,
that's about right. That's about right.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I can respect that. I can totally respect that. So, you took the leap to writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because of everything that happened, so what stopped? So, did you always want to create? Actually, first question. And if you did, why'd you wait so long?
Well, I never thought I could do it, honestly. Didn't know how to do it. And then, because I've always been an avid reader. Growing up, I was that person everybody went to because I've kind of always been a series junkie. And I've always purchased the series because our library, they never had the book when I wanted to read it. So I would just order it if I had the money to do it and, read it and share all the books that I read. Like I had my own little personal library growing up. But I kind of create, like I would occasionally create stories or like have them play out in my head, but I never really completely wrote one down until I was pregnant. And then I met another author who was really like, you should go for it, like try it. And here I am, like after I researched and reached out trying to submit my work to a traditional publisher, I went with indie publishing. And yeah, that's still a learning process. Like,
oh, it never stops.
Yeah.
Ever. Doesn't matter actually which way you go in the journey, it never stops. If you're going traditional publishing, you have to. So I see traditional publishing as like medium-sized business going corporate. And I see indie publishing as an entrepreneurship. It's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, that is a good way to look at it, because you do a lot as an indie author. Like it's a lot of work. People don't realize it.
Oh yeah, no,
you're in it.
Tons. I just wrote a little, like I said right before the air, I just wrote a little copy about Medusa based off the Alice. So basically how I got to know Medusa and like why Medusa was introduced. Because again, if it wasn't for Medusa, my friend had a Gorgon tattoo when I met her.
Nice.
Right? Hey.
Bye, Anita.
Bye, Anita.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, we always. But I remembered like doing this, going for this, that it's like, okay, when you take a character like that, it's like, okay, how do you make it your own? How do you do that? And so I based her a little bit off the girl I was trying to hit on that night, a little bit, because I did, right? Also, my friend, although she does play for Disney, we're still really good friends. Like we've been friends for a very long time now, and it was like, okay, I want to base this a little bit of her, give it right. So I had this idea. It's like, well, what if I told the story of how Medusa becomes a Gorgon as part of the story? And that's actually what I'm doing, right? Like, although you don't see it, like when you read one, you'll see it. Medusa does come back in one, but every time you see her going forward, you'll see you'll get a hint of where she's going. And the thing about right, so when you take an established story like Alice or Medusa or Greek mythology or something like that, it's like, okay, it's almost like you're in a role. Like, how can I make this person work for me? Yeah. Where can I make this fit? So Medusa. So the thing about Medusa that I really, really enjoyed when I did my little bit of research on her was she didn't deserve her fate.
No, I agree.
She did not deserve her fate. So for me, it's like, what would be an interesting story to tell? Well, maybe she can't escape her fate, but maybe she has a say on how it goes. And that's the angle I'm going with Medusa, because I call her the Gorgon Knight in my story. That's literally what she's the Gorgon Knight. She's still a human being. She has a tattoo, very similar to that can turn shadows to stone. But what you'll see is, I think one of the biggest things about what makes Medusa such an unfair story is she really didn't have a lot of say about what she became.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's sad. Like,
it's really sad, right?
Yeah.
It was really, really sad. But in my story, although I'm not going to tell you everything, it's like when bad things happen, it's sometimes you can't stop the bad things from happening. But who you are as a person, right, can come out in those really, really bad moments. And that, I think, is an interesting take on her that I don't think has been done a lot. Sometimes you can't escape the bad things that are going to come your way.
Yeah.
But how you face them, that's the real measure of who you are as a person.
Yeah,
not just in story, but in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's deep too. Like,
like anyone that's been through a crisis, and we can honestly all have said this now. We've all been through something. What I have measured people by is how kind they are in a time like this, because that tells me a lot more about their character, right? because it's easy. Like I think it's terrifying how fearful it is to face your mortality, and then a lot of us had to come face that for the first time. Not me. I dealt with that a decade ago.
Yeah.
Right. So I dealt with my mortality a long time ago. But I don't have the same view of the end of my life. That's why I don't mind getting older. That's why I don't mind. I'm changing, and I'm always changing. And that's the best part of life, is I'm still changing. Right. I woke up, I'm 40 now. I look at my hair. It's like, there's some gray in it now. There's some visible gray in it now. But I still, for the most part,
you can't really tell on camera right now. So I'm starting. I have a couple, but they're just like
but that's
in there.
But I don't mind the gray hair.
I
don't mind the gray hair. I won't mind the gray beard. Honestly, again, as I've gotten older, I mean, it seems to work in my favor. I get hit on a lot more. It's great. I enjoy that. But here's the thing about life is you're gonna face these terrible or hard or honest things in your life, and some of these things you just can't change. So am I gonna, when this came around, the fear that's out there with a lot of people is something I'm less like, I could not live like that. I just can't live like that. So I'm not going to live like that.
No.
Right? I'm too old for that shit. And that's how I feel. I'm too old for that shit. But there are people that are completely being consumed by terror right now. And that tells me something about their character. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it shouldn't be scared. That's not what I'm saying. It's okay to be scared.
Yeah. But don't let it control you.
Yeah. And that's one of the hardest. That's a big part of what's going on. Mm-hmm. I look at, there's someone like me who becomes maybe a touch more fearless as I get older. The older I get, the more fearless I become. That might be my undoing sooner than later. And maybe I shouldn't be quite so fearless. At the same time, fuck it, you only live once. And that's kind of how I see it, right? So,
yeah.
Right? But there's in hard times, the person you cannot run from is yourself. Yeah. You will see you for who you are, no matter what. And you can try to tell yourself you're a hero. Again, it's one of those things. Sometimes you're the villain. And that's okay too. You can change once you can have that honest look at yourself. But until you do that, you can't change. And that, I think, is like every crucible in life, is it tells you something about yourself.
Yeah.
You can accept it and move with it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like what you see.
Yeah.
And you can change it, or you just reject it and deny it. And usually when you deny, and of the three choices, right, that's the one you have to avoid at all cost. The other two, right? I got you thinking, and just noticed that I clicked something inside you when I said that. But that's.
Everything's a learning process. I've had some eye-opening experiences in my life, so.
Yeah, I know, but just the way I said that just seemed to click something inside you.
Yeah.
I just noticed that it clicked something inside you. But that's it. Life's about that. I do believe in God, but as I'm getting older, I realize there's a lot of shit we do God doesn't give a rat's ass about. Doesn't care. What matters is, are you going to be true to who you are in those moments? I think that's the only thing that really matters. Who are you here? And are you trying to be better, worse? Are you going to deny? Are you going to be in denial? And if the answer is the third, well, then this isn't going to help you. You're just going to get consumed by this. If it's the second, where you're just trying to change it, or trying to change something, come to that realization, you're trying to make a change, great. You might have gotten the most out of this, right? And the first, hey, I really am this kind of asshole. Cool. And you just keep going. Right. That's that. But at least that's honest. I can respect that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing about doing this, is we have to, when we face calamity, it's what we are in those moments that make us who we are. Right. It's not the fact that, and again, it's not the fact that, the hard times suck. Sometimes you can't escape the hard times. You can't escape the good, the bad. It's how people act, how people react from top to bottom. We're all connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the real battle of this time is being okay with being scared, but not let that fear consume us, because that is, truthfully, in my opinion, the real infection.
And it's hard. Like, it's hard. So.
Oh, we've all done foolish things in fear. We all have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've all done foolish things. That's why it's so dangerous. That's why it's so dangerous to let that win, because you're never thinking clearly when you're afraid, right? So that's it. We're never thinking clearly. And again, flight or flight. There's times when that's very useful. And right. And there are times too where you can use that fear to kind of be more aware of everything. I understand adrenaline junkies, why they jump out of planes and stuff. I get it, because it's that hyper awareness of the moment.
Yeah.
And fear can be an amazing drug when you use it like that. All right. So you probably figure out like what I'm going to be doing to the end of my life is I'm just going to take all kinds of crazy chances. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
That's me. That's me. But that is me, right? It's about, we are looking in this life to feel stuff always, and all of us have our own goals, like what that is, and we have to, again, the freedom to do anything we want. We really do, right? It's just right. So it's about being honest about what you want to get out of this. And again, so I want, I want a society where, you know what, we're not so scared of each other. And right now that's where we're at. I also want a society where, I'm not lining up some big company's pockets to do our feeding off the sphere. Not a big fan of that either. Right? So that's me. That's where I'm at. So I'm going to do my thing, and I might become, who knows, more infamous and famous down the road, but that's okay too, right? But I know what I want. I know what I want to feel. I know what I want to do. And that's it. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's it. So that's it. So again, going back to my whole thing on Medusa, right?
Yeah.
She knows her fate.
She does. But you're right. It is how she chooses it. Like how that. I like that idea.
We always have the ability, no matter who we are, whatever's out there, it doesn't fucking matter. It's how we face the moment. Are you a C.S. Lewis fan? I
have read a few books, but
he's not your thing. Okay, that's cool. There's nothing wrong. Here's my favorite thing about C.S. Lewis. This is my favorite thing. And this was how I started the pandemic, and I've kept this in my head ever since. C.S. Lewis made the decision. The book that would become Mere Christianity, he did that over the radio initially when London was being bombed.
Oh my gosh. I did not know that.
Yeah. So on the one hand, it's the most absurd thing. It was during World War II.
Yeah.
And he was speaking on the radio, and when London was being bombed, and you're thinking about, so that is the most absurd thing in the world. Why the hell would you do that here? Flip that around. Why wouldn't you do that here? One of the most important things about life is no matter what it looks like on the outside, it goes on, and you're still here. And tomorrow it can change and can be there. And the truly most rebellious thing you can do in this life is to seek those joys no matter how dark it looks on the outside. That's the most impressive thing about him that I know.
Yeah.
Straight up. By far. So that is what I've been trying to do in this time. I don't care what it's like out there. I'm going to fucking do me because, yeah, it's scary. But you know what? I'm still here. I got a chance, and tomorrow it can all change like that.
Yep.
And I'm going to be joyful any time because that's the most rebellious thing I can do.
That is a great way to look at it. So I like that.
Yeah. And like I said, you might not like his books, but yeah, at least you can respect.
I don't think I've ever finished. I don't remember. I know I've read one, but I can't remember what it was. I've read some books in it because well, actually, I've never read it.
Really?
I've watched the movies, but it's on my list. But but they're not top priority. So
the books are good. The books are good.
I'm gonna have to check them out at some point, and I may end up like getting them and reading them to my son at some point. I heard him on me, so. Okay, let me fix it. So they're on my to read like list.
Here
you go. Because I actually like he's gonna be a book reader. He's already got a whole like shelf of kids books, and we read all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, take it and go. Are you going? Are you staying? What are you doing?
I think he's staying.
I think so too.
He's made a decision that I want to know what mommy's doing. I'm going to be very clever and strategize and stuff, and that's fine. You know, again, you're the center of his world right now, so that's cool.
He's doing the blinky eye thing like kids do when they get tired. I think that's part of it.
Oh, sure. It's okay. So it's totally cool. Depending on what he likes, I can give you some pretty cool recommendations to get him started. I still read kids books because I like how they're designed.
Yeah. There's some creative stuff out there. I got the original Grimm's fairy tales.
Ooh.
And we're holding off on those just a little bit, but I got it to have it because I was like, maybe he'll want to read it later. But he's moving into Dr. Seuss kind of stuff right now. Like he's not reading by himself yet, but we're reading to him. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff. He likes a lot of the dragons and dinosaur kind of stuff. So,
he'll like Narnia,
mm-hmm.
But there's some things I could definitely I could see him doing. Right, and being read to for sure. John Stevens' The Emerald Atlas is something he would dig. He would totally dig that. He'd totally dig that.
Writing it down right now.
The Emerald Atlas, John. You'll be like, great pick, or you're a terrible pick. I don't know.
Well, there was one. My mom's a school teacher. She gave us a big box of books, and there was a book about a fox and like a Halloween tale and stuff. And I was like, God, it was kind of a dark story because it was talking about like the fox killing something, and everyone was like, Mom, why is this a kid's book? Like this should not be read to kids at a young age.
I'm kind of torn on that one. Then let me elaborate on it. Like obviously you're a kid, you do what you want. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but cool thing about Dr. Seuss, I'm a big Dr. Seuss fan. In my opinion,
I love Dr. Seuss books.
In my opinion, Dr. Seuss is the greatest graphic novelist of all time. I've gone and said this with comic book creators. Sometimes they're like this. They look at me, they think about it, like, I see what you did there. I kind of respect that. I don't agree, but I kind of respect where you're coming from. It's like, yeah, right? So here's the thing, right?
Okay, bud, go.
So here's the thing about Dr. Seuss. He doesn't shy away from dark things.
Mm-hmm.
Nor do the best fairy tales don't shield kids.
They don't, but you don't realize it as a kid.
No, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't. There's a font. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to give them too much at once. But the fact is,
I see it, bud.
but the thing is, right? You want kids to be able to deal with things too. So it goes both ways. There's a balancing act you have to do there. I may not want him to read Alice in Wonderland at 5 years old. That might be not a good idea.
Yeah.
But I might not be. Maybe Grimm might be a touch too strong. I don't know. But I don't want my kid to be caught in a weird situation and not know what to do or have any idea what to do either, right?
Yeah.
So isolating kids in a world where bad things can't happen, I think is wrong.
Agreed.
Yeah. So it's a really, like, again, it's a tricky balance. I'm not saying I have a perfect answer there, but it's not a terrible thing to give kids something that goes, hey, bad things happen here. Like Bambi, his mom died.
Yeah, that is true.
Right? It's real. It's a very real part of that story.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a necessary part of that story too.
Mm-hmm.
We all have it, right? So that's the thing, right? You don't want kids to shy away from the dark stuff. You want to give them the tools to deal with it, give them the empathy to overcome that. Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, again, I don't necessarily want to see them like read like a romance book or I don't necessarily. I think that's pretty much the other way. But I mean, you start getting them used to the idea that we don't live in a perfect world, and bad things can happen to anybody.
Wait. Sorry, he's climbing the shelf over here now.
Yeah. Yes. But anyway, those are my big and wonderful thoughts of the moment. So, what do you think? You're the parent. I mean, I'm just a guy.
We have a couple of books that there's definitely like underlying tones of like some darker lessons that and honestly, like rereading some of the things I read as a kid, you don't catch it, like I mentioned a while ago, and like as the parent, you see this, but the kid doesn't see it. So
yeah, kids don't have that in them. But again, having a little bit of that does not hurt. Now, again, I don't necessarily need to see all the wonderful, wacky, and weird stuff that's out there. Like I like if you told me you were letting your kid read like Robert Heinlein Post Stranger in a Strange Land, I'd be like, yeah. But no, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to any parent. Heck, there are some adults that are not adult enough to read that stuff. So you know, but it's again, that's the thing. Like there is a very very happening balance. The world is that it can be a nasty place, and the cool thing about fiction is you can show that the world is a nasty place in a safe way. Oddly enough.
Yeah. And you can just close the book and set it down if you need to step away from it. So
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this terrible thing happened to my character.
Like, let me just come back to this. I actually did that with the book the other day, and it's like, okay, I'm good. We can handle this now. So
I'm ready for this next bad terrible moment.
Like, okay.
Yeah, no, for me, the last book to really get me that worked up over those characters was the last book in the Dark Tower series.
Yeah, that's on my to read list. So my ever growing list.
Where are you in the Dark Tower series?
I haven't started it yet, so that's
okay. So
I'm one of these little sticky notes over here that I've got a stack of.
No, it's cool. So the fourth book's the best book in the series. The seventh book though is a beautiful finale. You will be in tears. I cried at the end of that. I cried.
So be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. When it really hits, you'll be like. And it's like, what just happened here? But it's that, like, my opinion, I literally just did an episode not too long ago with Kat Hudson when we talked about the whole series. Don't listen to that episode. It's filled with spoilers galore. Right? But we talk about it because it's one of my favorite, like, fantasy series. Like, it's probably yeah. Well, no. And also, I mean, I've done, as you can tell, if you look above Madilynn, I've done, like, 700 of these, so every once in a while you gotta do something a little different, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So you got comfortable writing. You wasn't sure what you're doing, but now you're doing it. So do you like it?
Oh yeah, I love it. I can't stop now. It's just there's no stopping.
Can't stop me. So what kind of stories do you want to tell? Like what's your dream?
Well, it's kind of a mix. The trilogy I'm working on right now is kind of a smutty, like dark fantasy romance stuff. It's a mix.
That's so cool.
And it's actually the first book in it is dropping in January. My goal is to put it all out next year. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah. That's
really cool. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks. So doing smutty dark romance, as you said. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So what else are you working on or writing about?
Well, I took a break from writing. I have a series about fae and shifters, kind of a mix, and it's got skinwalkers and like demons and stuff in it. It's kind of growing. It's following one main character, but I'm kind of at the point in the series where it's going to take a switch and it's going to follow more her kids than her. So
it sounds to me like you are a big urban fantasy person.
Yeah, I kind of, and I base a lot of it. And it makes sense. But I have, so me and one of my best friends, I consider him family kind of. We've known each other since the first grade. We have this idea that we're going to write a high fantasy story. Still work in progress, but we'll get there. So
I'll tell you what I want to do is, like you've seen some of my stuff already. What I really want to do, I want to keep telling like these unique stories, but I want them to be like. So my next book is a homage to Ray Bradbury because I'm a big Ray Bradbury guy.
Yeah.
So I'm actually doing a retelling of Fahrenheit 451.
Ooh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, and I'm drawing it, which scares the shit out of me. You see my drawings on
yeah, they're good. So
yeah, I'm getting there.
You're a lot better than me. So
if it puts you in perspective, I've drawn with people that have legit worked for one animation studios on the show.
Man,
yeah. So I got a long way to go, but I'm good enough for this book. So instead of doing like books, it's going to be about art. Drawing art for the first time and looking at the world through that way.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and I'm telling a story but for me, I don't want to be as big. And I'm not saying this now. I'll come up with this like 15 book series. I'll be like, I hate myself just a little bit, but I don't want to write. I enjoy. So from urban fantasy, I love Alana Andrews' Kate Daniels format a lot. I think it's a really good way of doing stories like that. I'm enjoying her series with Julie. That's actually been kind of fun to read so far. But the thing about those two is they tell their story. They come in, they tell their story. It builds off stuff that kind of exists. So Jim Butcher does something really similar. Mm-hmm. It builds off what's already there.
Yeah.
I get in, I tell my story, I get out. I just totally get out.
Here, go take it and go. It's playing.
Help!
Here's some. Here. I brightened it. Go.
You got maybe 20 more minutes out of this, and then we're good. So, but yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's already made his decision. He's
just hanging out.
Yeah, it's okay. He's cool with hanging out with you. He's cool because he kind of wants to know what you're doing. That's what, but that's because he's like, "What are you doing, mommy? And why are you talking to this man on the screen?" Yeah, right. So, but like I love the like for me, just again being more conscious who you are as a writer and a performer. I love Japanese light novels. I love pulp stories. I love things that take traditional ways of storytelling and kind of just challenge them a little bit. So it's that's what I'm going to do. And right, it'll be my own little niche and corner of the universe. It's like, and that's what I'm going to do. That high fantasy thing. I have great respect for anyone that does those things because the continuity is
hard.
Yeah.
Here's some. Your daddy's calling.
No.
I'll fix your movie. Hold on. You tapped on something. Here, don't tap on the ads. It was like a car sales thing. I was like, wait, no.
No, don't do that.
No.
But that's the thing, right? So it's being conscious of what you are. Like you sound like you're very comfortable in the urban fantasy, like that feels you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I do want to do a high fantasy story though. That's kind of like a.
So who's the high fantasy person you're trying to crush in your dreams? What Buddha are you trying to kill? Like the thing you're modeling yourself after.
No, that's a good point. I'd have to think on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's really all the world building and stuff that goes into it. I just kind of want to play with that more than anything. So
it's fun. It's So something I realized about every story, again, take my advice for what you will, use what you can, throw away the rest. It's all good. But the thing about a fantasy series, a good fantasy series, the characters drive it. What the world does is add a voice to it in a way that's so my favorite like fantasy series. Again, I mentioned Stephen King's Dark Tower, but okay, so some of the other ones I really love. Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, big fan of it. Brandon Sanderson's great at them. Like he just builds these amazing worlds. People that are underrated at them are like Robin Hobb. Robin Hobb's really good. I love Michael Moorcock's Eternal Champion concept. I love Roger Zelazny's Amber is probably my favorite universe ever. It's such a cool universe. But all of this stuff, like all of the stuff, like Zelazny's Amber series is the first 5. The second 5 aren't as good, and I know why. But the first 5, it's about Prince Corrin remembering who he is and figuring out how to kind of embrace, embrace his destiny and kind of forging his own path. And if you know anything about Oberon and Titania and the Courts of Chaos and stuff like that, that's the meta stuff. But what it's really about, it's about Corwin coming to terms with who he is, who he was, and who he wants to become, which I think is a really cool story to tell. That's Prince Corwin. So everything in Amber reflects that thing. If you look at the Wheel of Time, right? The Wheel of Time, it's about what if you were told you were going to save the world, right? What would that world be like? And that's the Wheel of Time. Yeah. It's totally the Wheel of Time. And everything, although Rand and Perrin and Mat are the main characters that drive the whole story, the meta, the cultures, everything, like what Jordan did really well was the cultures, all the different countries you went into felt so different. He did that so well. Yeah. Right? That's why that series works, because although he has all that, Rand, Mat, Perrin's story carries everything. The Sentient were made for Mat. The Isle were made for Rand. Right, the 2 rivers where they came from. That's Perrin. Perrin's the farm boy of like leading his local. Right. But those things, and then everything else in the world, like how does the rest of the world view Randolph Thor, the Dragon Reborn? Right. How does the bad guys look at him? As everything revolved around that all the way until the end of the story's done.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Right. So if you're going to do a good high fantasy series, what's the story? And then you do the world building around that story.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I'm waiting on that idea to kind of.
But you want to do it. You want to do it.
So it'll be there eventually.
Totally. It's totally will.
Make the room for it. I gotta finish the other ideas I have floating around first. So
lots of werewolf shifters, like Faye.
Yes, that's definitely one of my go-to. So it's easy. I don't know why, because I've always enjoyed reading it, and it just gets kind of creative. But there's like the whole Skinwalker stuff. There's so many different types of basically Skinwalkers. I kind of want to explore that a little more. So
yeah. So. For me, like I said, as I've gotten older, I still love doing trappings. In my first novel, I have a unicorn that literally farts out advertisements in rainbows. Like I'll do that stuff just for shits and giggles. I have fun with it because it fits the world too. Yeah. But character first, then world building, because I know the story I want to tell. I guess that's my advice to you when you.
No, you cannot open that.
Back to this again.
No.
Back to this again.
Yes, we are absolutely back to it again.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? He's like, I'm going to do this. What will it take to get your attention? Why won't you love me? Or something. I don't know.
He wants this big toy.
Well, we all want the big toys. We all think we do. We all think we do until we get them.
No, you cannot get down. You're not climbing on the desk. Get down. Get down. You know that climbing thing I mentioned earlier?
Yeah, well, yeah,
hey,
of course.
Go look out the window, see if Daddy's here. Go. Go. We're not climbing on stuff. Harrison. Don't you get on it.
See, it's the universe's revenge on you. Like I said, a little bit of chaos. Add to already an interesting interview. But I will say this, just because I get the feeling that he's probably gonna keep running amok. I'll wrap this up shortly. But for now, you're like, thank you. But I guess I have basically. So I'm gonna ask the hardest question I think I'm gonna ask you for the whole interview. What do you feel your work? What do you feel you try to say when you write a story?
Depends on the story, really.
Yeah.
Because, like, with my first book, because it was written mostly when I was still coming out of the postpartum and stuff and trying to get that under control, I wanted that one to be more of, like, it's never too late to ask for help, kind of to take care of yourself, to change where you're at in life, to better off your position. Because that was a big theme in my very first book I published. And since then, it's kind of changed a little bit. Like the second book in that series, it was something like she had to come to terms, her and her half-sister had to work on, like, being okay with each other existing in the same world and their positions changing, because originally the half-sister was the one that was going to take over, and because they're both kind of princesses in their own way, because their father is the leader of their shifter pack, and here comes the older sister that they didn't know existed because mother hid her away, and they hand everything that was supposed to go to the other sister to her, and it just kind of everything's flipped, and the half sister has to come to terms with everything not being handed to her anymore, and she has to get a new outlook on life, but they also have to figure out how to work with each other on things. So it's just different with each book, I feel like.
It's good. The important thing is I get a sense of what you care about. And that's that, because I do truly think an author's what they really give a crap about comes out in the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And when people pick it up and they're like, oh, hey, I got this out of it. And you're like, I didn't mean to put that in there, but
it's you. You cannot like that's the thing, right? It's you.
Yeah.
And you can't deny it. And that's not a bad thing. It's just what it is. Right? So
yeah.
And honestly, you should be happy about that. It's pretty, that stuff you care about is stuff that matters.
Yeah.
But as you're like, I don't know what he's up to now, and he's gone quiet, and I'm a little scared now.
Just a little.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad when they get quiet. What are you tapping?
Yeah. I still remember this when I was a kid. And even now, as an adult, my sister, she'll get a certain look in her eyes when she's up to something. And you're just, in your head, you're just like, oh, shit, because you can't stop it.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. You just know it's going to happen. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
He's been pretty good for the most part.
Oh, so. I know. Oh, no. I'm sorry. We're going to go. And on a high note, because, I mean, it's just like, in case something calamity does happen, I can't be a witness. A witness, which is fantastic. But no, I think we have. First off, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say this off just for everybody. Madilynn was really kind. We were supposed to do this a little later in the day, and she was really sweet about me screwing up and double booking myself. So I want to thank. Yeah, I want to thank her very much for her willingness to come on earlier, and also for everything you've done for me. I'm glad you like my stuff. It's always it's weird now because now I'm starting to get comments about everything I'm doing. It's like, oh, I really like it, and now I got to deal with my new version of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
This is my box.
It's not your box.
It's for me.
No, it's not. It's your cousin's.
Harrison's name?
Harrison.
Harrison?
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. He's a mess.
No, he's awesome. That honesty is so refreshing. I wish adults
quit moving the chair.
Is he saying no?
No. He's not saying no.
Is he saying yes?
No, he's not telling you yes either. Hey, go. You can take the box and go see if Daddy's here. He's
doing anything he can to get that. He's got a one-track mind.
Yeah.
You have to admire his moxie. You gotta admire that. It's terrifying a little bit because you gotta deal with it, but you can't just say no. All
yeah.
Right. That all said. I think I let you go. What? Do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your latest book. Talk about how people can find you, and we'll put it up.
Harrison, why are my books on the floor? Oh my gosh, that's what fell. They were stacked. All right, guys, and they've got sticky notes on them now. So here's my latest book coming out, dropping in January. Black Flames. This is the smutty romance, dark fantasy romance, what I was mentioning earlier. So it is on sale for 99 cents right now, guys, for ebook only. But it will be available in paperback. So
it's called. So wait. Let's see if we can do this properly here. Madilynn Dale. Let's see if I can find you on the old powerful.
Let me get this way. There we go. Black Flames. There you go, guys. And it does have shifters and angels and vampires and demons, the whole galore in it. So.
You know, it's interesting when I Google up Black Flames. It's like the very first thing. The first thing I see up on top is like a satanic Bible. It's amazing.
That's pretty interesting. What?
Yes.
Okay, take the koala. You can have Ganesh too. Go.
I just want to make sure.
You're good. He's taking things off the computer now. You're not getting in my lap. There's cords here.
There we go. So there's paperback.
You can't have the plant.
I want to have
No, the plant is breakable.
Please.
No.
I won't break it.
Take that and go. Those are the famous last words too. I won't break it.
Oh God! At that point, that almost actually encourages. That almost encourages. No, at that point.
That's spray, but it's broom spray. Here, look at here. Look, what's that? Look.
So for everybody watching, listening, I'm putting the link up on the visual. If you are listening to this, it will be in the episode description when this airs as an audio. But there, for those watching, those listening, this is exactly where you're going to go. Is right here. Check a look. It is 99 cents US. So. Which is like $1 million Canadian, but don't hold it against us. Our dollar is just terrible right now. That's okay. So, do you have a website or place?
I do. It is www.thechaptergoddess.com. And majority of my books are published wide, so you should be able to find me on like Barnes and Noble and stuff too.
That's you? That's you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, I have to ask this before we go. Is why the Chapter Goddess? Why did you call yourself the Chapter Goddess?
I wanted to come up with something creative and like empowering sounding. So the Chapter Goddess is what I came up with. So, and every woman wants to feel like a goddess because, we want to be loved and like praised. And, as a mom, you kind of let yourself go sometimes. So.
It's not that you let yourself go. You just have other things. You got more important priorities, like making sure Harrison doesn't climb on something. It's kind of hard to feel. I'm a god. Stop! Come down.
As he knocks all the books to the floor.
I don't think that'd work. I think he'd find a way out of that too. It's like I bolted. How did you get up there? I bolted you to the floor. I swear I did, and no, that doesn't work that way. I know this from experience. They're gonna do what the damn well please. That's just how the universe works.
Yep.
But hey, that's what makes life interesting. Like I said, a little chaos goes a long way in life.
It does. Oh. But we live for chaos sometimes.
Chaos is the norm. So for everybody watching, everybody listening, here's my book. You can go get it now. Right, it's called Alice.
You guys will not regret it. It's good.
Yes, I swear it's good. And I got some big announcements at the end of the year. I'm going to give some pretty big announcements about this book, actually. Some cool stuff, because I told you, I'm living crazy. I'm going to be trying some really cool stuff next year. So, and with this book in particular. So but if you want to support it, links right here. Link will also be in the episode description below. My sponsor this month is Speculative Fiction Academy. I do a course there about podcasting. I'm just yes, I get it. It's all good. This is why we're ending the interview, ladies and gentlemen, because I think Harrison needs his time. And it's all good. But for those watching, listening, supporting me, definitely subscribe to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/justjoshingpodcast. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pantelleresco. Like, subscribe, enable notifications. All of my past interviews end up there sooner or later. You can listen to this on any platform you like. Outside of that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Tomorrow I have an international guest all the way from England, Natasha Cooler-Rolfe, freelancer writer. Awesome. And looking forward to it. It'll be a little earlier in the day the rest of this week because all my guests are from across the pond. But it'll be good, I promise. And to everybody watching, listening. Everybody
Get off of it.
What is it?
I can't tell you what it is. Get off.
I want to sleep.
It's a Christmas present. Get off.
A Christmas present?
Yes, get off.
Is it
Go look for Daddy and take Evie with you.
Evie.
I don't even know when the dog came in here.
So I normally wrap it up with something else positive, but really I don't think I can top this. So I'm just gonna let you go at this, folks. Have yourself a great day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks for having me, Josh.